Today I want to talk about Bitcoin security. I first got into Bitcoin around 2013 when I started working on a Bitcoin exchange for the Asia Pacific market. I've been involved on and off, but one thing that I started last year is a Bitcoin wallet recovery service. So it's a small business where I help people who have lost access to their wallets for various reasons, either because they made some mistake and have been locked out, or sometimes I help with cases of theft, or people that have had their computers damaged or their phones lost, etc. Many different cases. So I want to share some of the things I've learned from my experience helping people and give you 10 best practices to keep your cryptocurrency, Bitcoin or other, safe, and give you some tools that would dramatically improve the security of your cryptocurrency storage. Number one, the most important thing you can do to minimize your risk of losing your crypto assets is to use a hardware wallet. So I have one right here. This is a Trezor Bitcoin wallet. Now, let me talk about the difference between different kinds of Bitcoin wallets. Uh, the first kind that most people use is a hot wallet, a software wallet. It's software that runs on your computer, so or your phone. So this is my iPhone. So Jax is a software wallet. This one runs on the phone. So the thing about software wallets is that if any malicious software gets on the same device, it has access to everything your computer or your phone is doing. So an iPhone is pretty secure, software-wise, but it's easy for it to fall into the wrong person's hands. It's also easy for the phone to be destroyed and lost. And in general, software wallets are the least secure way to store your crypto. One reason is that on the computer, if somebody installs, if a malicious hacker is able to get a keylogger in your computer, a keylogger is a kind of software that is able to monitor every keystroke and see what you're doing. And it's surprisingly easy to get them. One customer was simply browsing a Bitcoin forum using Firefox, and his Firefox version was out of date. And one of the ad banners in that forum had some malicious software. And without him knowing, it infected his computer, started monitoring his keystrokes until he happened to open his wallet, his blockchain wallet, and it stole all his Bitcoin. So your computer or your phone is not a very secure way to store Bitcoin. Um, the more secure way to do it is to use a hardware wallet. So this is a Trezor hardware wallet. It only has one interface in another device, this USB connection, right? This is the actual device. And it has no Wi-Fi, it has no Bluetooth. The only way to connect to data to this device is through this cable. And so, it's very difficult for hackers to hack this device because it only runs signed software, and all it does is sign Bitcoin transactions. So it doesn't really store Bitcoin so much as it is able to authorize a transaction on your wallet. Now, a Bitcoin wallet these days is usually deterministically generated from a list of 12 or 24 seed words. And that's how wallets like the Trezor work. You initialize them by having the Trezor itself generate a list of 24 words. And then to sign transactions, when you want to send something, it simply says, do you want to confirm sending X amount of Bitcoin to this address? And you press yes. And what the wallet does is it assigns the transaction using a derivation of your seed words. And what makes it secure is that your seed words are never ever on your computer. And so no matter what happens to your computer, it never hackers are never able to use that control to steal your Bitcoin. Um, and the Trezor itself only ever stores an encrypted version of your seed, so even if the Trezor is stolen, it's still safe. When you initialize it, you can set a PIN number And after 16 correct attempts, the device is wiped, and after every correct attempt, the time to try again doubles. And so, a hardware wallet like a Trezor or a Ledger Nano is the most secure way for you to store your Bitcoin. And definitely, I recommend having one of these for anybody that has more than a trivial amount of crypto. Now, another option is to use what's called a paper wallet. So this is a paper wallet. You can see it has a label of 10 Bitcoin. So what you can generate this yourself on a number of websites, print it out, and what you do is you deposit your Bitcoin to this address. So if you have a QR code scanner, so let's say I have my Jaxx wallet, I can click send. I'll hit the QR code button. Okay, there it is. So this is the QR code on here. The QR code is the QR representation of this Bitcoin address. When I scanned it, it showed up right here on my Jaxx wallet, and now I can send to it. And so the address is not confidential, and you can send as much Bitcoin as you want to here. For convenience, I printed 10 BTC here. And then when you want to spend a paper wallet, right? So here I have office tape, but there is a holographic tamper evident tape. And the difference with that tape is that after you stick it on there, when you take off the tamper evident tape, it leaves part of the hologram on the paper. So you can see if somebody tried to, if somebody opened it before you. So it's not tamper proof, it's tamper evident. So you know if somebody has accessed the private key. And here's the private key. So this key, right, this is not the key, this is just a blob intended to mask people that want to use a bright light or an X-ray or something to see this key. This is the private key on the wallet. And this is how you spend the paper wallet. Now, actually, I've gone one step further, and this is, right here it says BIP38 encrypted. And so this means that the key itself is encrypted, and to scan it, point it to this private key, right? And so my iPhone shows the text representation as private key, also typed here. So this is actually the BIP30 encrypted private key. You don't have to encrypt it if you keep this on a safe and you trust whomever has access to this. You don't have to encrypt it. But anyway, you can decrypt this using a BIP38 tool. So if you want to keep your Bitcoin in a safe without any hardware, you can print as many of these as you want, obviously. You want to give some to your kids to inherit, and you want to split it up into chunks. This is a very safe way to do it. So again, in order of safety, software wallet, like what you run on your phone or your computer, like Jaxx is the least secure. Hardware wallet like the Trezor is the most secure for daily use, and for long-term cold storage in a safer vault, a paper wallet is really safe. So that's the number one tip. Don't use software wallet even more than a trivial amount. Sometimes for advanced operations, you want to use a software wallet. If you're doing like what I do is recovering coins and doing brute forcing for people that forgot their passwords. But for daily use, if you are not super certain that your computer is secure, hardware wallet is a much better option. Okay, so next tip. So if you have a hardware wallet, as I said, when you initialize it, it generates a list of 24 seed words. And the next step is you want to keep your seed somewhere very safe. So when you buy the Trezor, it comes with a little paper card for you to write down your seed, and you want to put that in a safe. What I do is I put it in a safety deposit box in my bank. Now there is a device called a what is it called? I'll send you a link to it. There are actually several options. It's a metal container for the seed words, and basically instead of writing down on paper, you can slide just the letters that represent your 24 seed words, and that makes it fireproof, waterproof, and you can put it in a safe and not worry about it getting flooded or getting burnt up in a fire. So that's tip number 2. Keep your recovery seed somewhere very safe. How the Trezor works. If you open the Trezor website, you can purchase your Trezor hardware wallet. And then I'll click on wallet. Right, so these are the two options for the devices. You can also get a Ledger Nano S. And basically they both work in a similar way. It's a dedicated cryptocurrency storage device that is able to sign your transactions. So let me go to my Trezor wallet. When I open the website, let's see, it's loading. It asks me to plug in my Trezor, so I'll go ahead and plug that in. And now I'm asked to enter the PIN code for my Trezor, and I see a grid of numbers on my Trezor. So let me go ahead and enter my PIN code. Oops. Let's try that again. Okay, so now I can go ahead and send and sign transactions from my Trezor. So here is the list of supported coins that are currently supported by the Trezor. So I'm not going to send any, right now I'm looking at Dash. I won't send any Dash, but I'll sign this address. So here I have a message, I have an address here, I'll click sign. And now my Trezor is asking me to confirm the action. And I'll click confirm on my Trezor. Right, and this just generated the signature. So the wallet is actually running on my computer, but to authorize any transaction, I have to click the yes button on my Trezor hardware wallet. Next step has to do with how you manage your software wallet. So let me go ahead and open Electrum and create a new software wallet. So I will go to File, New. We'll have a test wallet, and I will say create a new seed. So I'll make this a SegWit wallet. And here's my list of seed words. So it's important that you write these seed words on paper so that if somebody finds them in the file on your computer, they're not able to simply steal all your coins. Since I'm just doing a test here, I will not actually write us on paper, but it does encourage you by forcing you to retype the words, not allowing you to copy paste. Okay. So the next step I have is for you is to make sure that you encrypt your wallet. Test using a good password. So this ensures that somebody that opens your wallet is not able to see all your addresses and transactions. So this, there's two different options here. This password encrypts your private keys, and this option encrypts your whole wallet. So if you don't check this, somebody that accesses your wallet will be able to see all your transactions and addresses, but not be able to steal your coins. If you check this, to open the wallet at all, you have to know the passphrase. So what happened here? Well, using the BIP39 protocol, the wallet was generated from this list of 12 seed words. And so in the future, every new address will be generated from the list of seed words. Okay, let's move on to the next step. I talked about how to secure your wallet. Let's talk about how to secure your computer. Now, there are several options for encrypting the information on your computer. Something that I like to use is called VeraCrypt. VeraCrypt is the successor to TrueCrypt. It can encrypt your entire disk, or it can create encrypted volumes in your computer. So if I click Create Volumes, right, I can encrypt the entire partition on my hard drive, or I can create a small file that I use for storing confidential data. And so I can specify the size of the file, and I can keep my seeds or any other secrets I want to have on my computer. This is good for more advanced users that want to keep confidential data, but actually Windows and Mac both have full disk encryption built in. So on Mac OS, there's a feature called File Vault, which is able to encrypt your entire hard drive. And whenever you turn on your computer and log on into your profile, it will decrypt your information on your hard drive. And so here you can see that File Vault has gone ahead, encrypted my entire hard drive, and I have to enter my passphrase to access my computer. Now let's go through some of these other options. Let me unlock this. So some important features I have a login password set to log on to my computer. I have it set to require a password after 5 minutes of inactivity. The next suggestion I have for you has to do with how you authenticate to various online services, such as your cryptocurrency exchange. So for every important or for every service that I use, I have set up two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication means that in addition to the username password that I enter, I need to enter some kind of token, either a hardware device or a password that changes every 30 seconds in order to verify that it is in fact me. So the Trezor for some services is supported as a two-factor token, which means that in addition to your password, you have to plug in your Trezor to your computer in order to verify that it is you and not somebody that has stolen your credentials. So for other services, I use a two-factor service provided by either Google or by LastPass. So LastPass has their Authenticator app, and Google has their. Most people use the Google one. Let me show you what that looks like. Google Authenticator. Well, I don't have it installed right now, but basically it looks the same like as LastPass. Right. So I have to look at my face. So you can see these codes which change every 30 seconds, and for every service I use, I have a. You see, they just changed. I have a two-factor authentication. And so by using two-factor, you ensure that somebody that steals your username password is not able to, for example, sign on to a Bitcoin exchange and steal all your coins. Even if they've stolen your email address, or if they have access to your email and they have username password, they still don't have the two-factor code to regain access. So the next thing I want to show you is a password manager. So I use something called LastPass. There's several other options. Let me open it on my phone. So LastPass, again, it wants to see my face. There it is. So I only have one password that I need to remember, and that's my master password that unlocks this LastPass wallet. Now the vault itself is encrypted. So LastPass has a file that they store in their servers, but they don't know the contents because that file is encrypted using my master password. So only I have access to my database of passwords. So let me pick a random password here. Let me just create a new one actually. So I'll click create a new. Right. So when you generate a new password in LastPass, you can choose some options, but it's going to be a strong password that you're not supposed to remember. So when you actually browse, let's say this is a Twitter password to the Twitter website, it will autofill it for you. So after you set this up, it can import all your accounts, and you never have to remember any other password than the one that unlocks this wallet. Now, because it has support for both desktop computers and your phone, it will work for all your services. My next step has to do with browser security. So let's say you're on Coinbase.com and you want to go ahead and log into your Bitcoin exchange, and you want to type in your username password. So the problem is that you probably have a bunch of extensions in your web browser, right? Most people have a bunch of them, and occasionally they get hacked. So some of these extensions that are very popular are used by millions of people and have been hacked. And once an extension is hacked, they can do whatever they want to monitor the passwords you're typing into your computer, and that's bad because now they can steal your username password and log in as you to an exchange and do whatever they want. Of course, two-factor helps, but you still don't want people grabbing your username password. So what can you do? So what I suggest is you browse in incognito mode. So I'll go to File, New Incognito Window, and now I'll log into Coinbase. So when you're in incognito mode or private mode, if you're using Firefox or Safari, by default, all extensions are disabled. So you can go into an extension options and enable it to run in incognito mode, but otherwise it will not enable any extensions. So here I have a few trusted extensions that I've enabled, and this protects you from extensions in your web browsers being hacked. Let's talk more about performing sensitive operations in your web browser. So let's say you want to create a new Bitcoin paper wallet. So if you simply performed it in your web browser or online, so let's say I will go to bitcoinpaperwallet.com and I will go ahead and generate a paper wallet here. So the risk when I do this is that, here, let me generate, here I have a paper wallet. One risk is that this website itself is malicious, and the website itself is capturing this private key and will steal it later. Another risk is that my extensions are malicious. Another possibility is that my browser itself is somehow capturing these credentials. So how do we minimize that risk? Well, one thing we can do is, as I said, use a incognito mode so that your extensions are disabled. So let me do that first. But another risk is that the website itself is malicious and it's stealing your private keys. So let's take another security measure here. I'm going to open this website, and then I'm going to take my computer offline. So now I'm fully off the internet, and this web page that I have loaded cannot communicate with the server at all. So I'm going to go ahead and print this paper wallet, right? Let's generate a new paper wallet a few times. Let's say I want to use this one, so I'll go ahead and print this out. And then what I'm going to do is, after I'm done with this process, I'm going to close my incognito window, exit my web browser, and then I'll go back online. So a lot of Bitcoin tools that you might use in your web browser don't actually need to be, if they're well designed, if they don't need to broadcast a transaction, you can perform them offline, disconnect them from the internet, then exit your web browser, and then go online. And so this prevents any malicious code in the web page from sending your keys, to someone else. So I've given you some suggestions about how to keep your coins more secure, but it's not all about being protected from thieves. It's also important to protect yourself from various disasters or data loss that might happen. So if your computer is lost or broken, or something happens to your data, it's important to be able to recover. And for both Mac and Windows, it's important for you to keep a backup of your information. So for Mac, there's a very convenient option called Time Machine. And here's mine. You can see that I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple redundant backup of my files. And some of it happens, basically the way Time Machine works is it runs an automatic backup every hour. And so I had this connected today to one computer 2 hours ago, and then to my office computer I had it connected yesterday, and then I have some computers that are off-site that I keep on a secure location and sync periodically, so that if my home burns down and both my computer and my backup is lost, I still have a backup at my office, and even if that backup is lost, I have a backup in a secure location, so that I can be certain that my information will not be lost. And when you set up a Time Machine backup, you can encrypt it so that if somebody steals your backup itself, they can't access your files. So another option is to use Dropbox. So I use Dropbox and I keep an encrypted VeraCrypt volume in my Dropbox. So Dropbox, the company, can access my files, but because it's all my files are in a VeraCrypt volume in my Dropbox, it won't do them any good because all the stuff is encrypted. So multiple redundant backups, and even if all those backups are lost, I also have the benefit of having a let me show you that. Right, I have an encrypted partition using a strong, unique password to make sure that I have an online backup of my most important information. Okay, let me try to summarize what I've gone over today. So first of all, you want to keep your um, Bitcoin on the most secure medium available, either a hardware wallet like a Trezor or a paper wallet like this one, or if you do want to keep it on your software wallet, make sure to encrypt it. Um, Furthermore, when you write down the seed word list, make sure you keep it somewhere safe, such as a safe. Next step is to encrypt your hard drive, and if you have keys in your computer, keep it in an encrypted volume. And use the built-in operating system full disk encryption tools. Um, Make sure to lock your computer when you're away from it after 5 minutes or less of an activity. Use a password manager to store your passwords. Use two-factor authentication to sign on to websites, especially websites that are financial or crypto related, such as LastPass Authenticator. Be sure to, one more thing, keep your computer up to date so you get the latest security patches, and perform sensitive operations offline using incognito mode, and make sure that you back up your data so that if everything is lost in your computer, you can easily restore it from backup. And that's all the advice I have. You'll find the list of these suggestions in the video description with a link to the article that I originally wrote about. Thanks.